Hello, friends. Once we pause our busy lives to check in with the Lord, it's time to reflect. Psalm 77:11 says, I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your wonders of old. Lamentations 3:21 says, But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. If pausing reorients us toward God's presence, reflection deepens that awareness, and it moves us from remembering that God has been faithful to understanding how his faithfulness has shaped our story, how he impacted our lives in each and every situation. Reflection is not just a glance in the rearview mirror. It's a spiritual discipline that turns hindsight into wisdom, memory into worship. Then the psalmist Asaph wrote, I will remember the deeds of the Lord. He wasn't just recalling God's power as mere history. He was recentering his soul on truth amid despair. His world felt unstable, but reflection anchored him when his ship was being tossed. He chose to meditate on God's past wonders until the present storm quieted. Reflection then is not nostalgia, it's faith in rehearsal. To reflect biblically is to slow down enough to let the Spirit interpret your story. Every victory, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer becomes a classroom where God teaches trust. Reflection reminds us that nothing in our past is wasted when it's surrendered to his purpose. When this I recall, Jeremiah wrote, and therefore I have hope. The therefore is the hinge. Hope is not accidental. It's born of remembrance. But reflection is not limited to recalling events. It involves examining our hearts in the light of God's word. Psalm 139:23 says, Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. Reflection without honesty becomes just sentimentality. Real reflection invites God's searching light. It asks questions like, what am I clinging to that hinders my peace? What have I forgotten about his goodness? It welcomes correction because it trusts in his character. The Apostle Paul echoed when he wrote, Examine yourselves to see whether you are in faith in 2 Corinthians 13:5. Reflection is not self-condemnation. It's spiritual alignment. It allows the Spirit to reveal drift before it becomes distance, so that we can be recalibrated toward true north. Our hearts need to be recalibrated to the truth of God's presence and his promises of his word. Reflection uncovers pain that we've buried. Yes, those disappointments, betrayals, regrets, even those moments become sacred ground when we remember that the Lord was there with us too. Redemption redeems our story, reframing it into the context of his mercy. The pain we once feared to revisit becomes proof of his sustaining grace. In reflection, the heart grows quiet and teachable. It is here that direction begins to take shape, not through striving, but through understanding. When you pause to reflect, you start to see patterns that the prayers God answered differently for your good. The delays built patience, the wilderness that produced maturity. What seemed like detours reveal themselves as divine designs. When you look back over your recent season, where do you see God's fingerprints? Subtle or strong, who is guiding you towards trust? Reflection is the bridge between remembering God's faithfulness and recognizing His present work. It's how memory becomes meaning.